All right. I'm gonna wait for them to get back. Yeah. Well. So guys, like I said before, I'm doing lecturing a little differently. I'm gonna just go through the slides real quick, introduce you to the concepts, but we're gonna get further in depth doing like group coding like we just did. If you guys hate this, anyone hates it, you can send me an anonymous email, and then I will stop doing it. But I think generally feedback's been good. So just don't worry if you don't get a concept that I'm showing on the screen, because we're going to go through it together, and you can ask questions about it, and we can get in depth. Cool. Objects. Well, you guys played with some objects before. This is so introduction to objects, keys and values, the key terms of objects. So this text is pretty self-explanatory. You guys have probably seen this before, this notation. It's called an object literal. If you ever heard someone say object literal, that means they're putting those squiggly brackets and they're typing in values of something in this format with the commas separating the value and the colon and that's what an object literal is. The difference between the objects and arrays is it's not like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're not like typically doing like for loops on them. It's key value pairs. So it's really, when I was first learning objects, you have the two terms, key and value. Those can get confusing. So I'm going to really, really clarify them right now. So key is what you use to look it up. It's like in a dictionary, so sometimes it's called dictionaries. In a dictionary, it's the word, I guess. And then in the value is the definition. Another metaphor would be like, literally like a key. The key is, well, that's kind of stupid, actually. I should have thought about the metaphors before this. But, okay, so, say what? Interesting. No, that's crazy. It's like, yeah, username accounts. Like, if you're, we'll deal with it. Okay, so, yeah, they store one more bit. Okay, so objects remember a bag of keys, which is strings. You can put a key, yeah. Put a key, you get associated value. So yeah, the keys are like what the name of something, you know? This is the key, right there. Intimation? What is that word? Intimation is the key, and this is the definition of information. So this is what you use to look up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it like represents something much larger than it is. You know, it's just the way we use to communicate, like how to find something. And yeah. Parent-child is a metaphor? No, I'm trying to find one that separates it significantly from like arrays. Because like, so arrays, you go through. In order to find a piece of data in an array, you got to go check each element. Say, is this the element I want? No, okay, I'll go to the next one. Is this the element I want? No, so I'll go to the next one. Is this the element I want? No, and this could go on forever if you have like a really large array. Keys is just like, I know where I want to go. I know what the data is. I know we can look it up by. It's like a coupon code, okay? So if you're buying something online, you can go online on the website. You can type in random. You could go through every iteration of 4-letter coupon code ever imaginable. And you'll probably find a coupon code eventually. But if someone told you, hey, here's the coupon code, then you can just type it right in, and boom, you got the value, which is the discount. So this is the coupon code, this is the discount. That makes sense. So that's why it's better to use an array sometimes, because if you know exactly what you're looking for, you can just look it up. Just one operation rather than thousands, like going through, iterating through every single possible coupon code that's imaginable. That's a key difference. So keys is the secret code. Values are the treasure that the code opens. Yep. The value can be anything, as shown here. You can put arrays in it, you can put booleans in it, anything. You can put other objects in there if you want. You can put other objects in other objects, which have other objects in them. You can just keep going. There's no end to it. You can just keep going. Yeah. And then objects don't have a length property, so some people wonder about that. They don't have it. Okay, so we got the difference between keys and values. Now, there's another big thing to learn, which is dot notation versus bracket notation. Bracket notation is when it's like right here, when you're using, when you're using the brackets, the square things, to look up a value. And so where do we already use bracket notation that you guys have been doing for like a while? Indexes, yeah. When you're doing for loops, you use I, and then you put it in that bracket, and then it gives you like the value somehow. That's not some special magic that arrays do. That's using something called bracket notation, which can be used with objects as well. So what is the key in that scenario when you're using with for loops? When you're using bracket notation, what's the key? And what's the value? The index. And the value is whatever element is at that index. Okay. So in this array, if I did array bracket notation, I typed in 2, what would we get? What would the value be from that? So I typed in array right here, this thing. I typed in array bracket 2. So you've already used bracket notation successfully in all forms. So this is dot notation. You guys all also used dot notation before. There's a dot in it, and you use dot string. And so the big difference between bracket and dot notation is that bracket notation, you don't have to know exactly what you're putting into that bracket beforehand. It can be a value, which is shown here. Right? They store this variable that's a string, and they put the variable in the bracket notation. And JavaScript then goes and replaces this myKey indicator with the string itself. The Boolean, and then so crazy object up here, Boolean is equal to true. So that's why it's true there. All right, so any questions, bracket versus dot notation? Yeah, that's the biggest difference, if not the difference, is that you can't use variables to represent what property you're trying to access using dot notation. That's for bracket notation. That's why we use bracket notation in the for loops, because we don't know, when we're scrolling through an array, we don't know how many times we have to scroll through. We don't know the length of the array, so we don't know how many times I is going to update by 1, so we have to use bracket notation to represent the number. Dot notation is right here. Just object dot key. Yeah, I love bracket notation. You have to pass in like it as a string. Like if you don't, if you're not, it's not a variable. It has to have a string in there. So I guess maybe it's like kind of annoying for developers, but really it functions. Bracket notation does have more functionality than dot notation. It's just I could see people looking at like a bracket notation that has a bracket notation that has a bracket notation next to it, and being like this is too much brackets. I don't know. Which line? Yeah, that just shows that you can use a variable. It's almost like a function in a weird way. It's almost like you're passing in a variable to like a function that gives you a value. It's not. So don't think of it. Don't. It's not a function, but it's kind of like you're passing something in. Yeah, I mean you're right because this when they do it this way, it's kind of just creating variable on the fly and putting it in. Yeah, it looks a lot like when you're passing an argument. While dot notation is its own like original system. Okay, so this is even more on it. You cannot follow dot notation with a variable name. Yeah, just like we went through. Can't do that. Dot notation is very vanilla, just dot property name, no variables allowed. Using variables as key names. Yeah, so we went through this. In this case, let's use bracket with no close. Right. So yeah, so when you're passing in the variable, sometimes people make mistakes and they like put the variable name with like quotes around it. That's not what you want to do. As long as the variable itself is a string, or it doesn't have to be a string, but most times it's a string, then it'll turn into a string later. No, no, all these examples are correct. It's just that uh, it's just in case someone's confused about when you pass in a variable. When you pass in a variable, it needs to look like this, not like this. This, not this. I actually think I might have confused more people by trying to make a point about this. So you guys, if you're getting confused about this, you probably already had it. Just like you don't access variables by putting quotes around them. It's not what you do. Just making sure everybody knows that. Yeah, so this is what like I said before, this is an object literal, which key components of an object literal, bracket starts it, bracket closes it. You have the key followed by a comma, followed by the value. Sorry, key followed by a colon, followed by the value, followed by a comma. And then the next value, followed by a colon, followed by, sorry, the next key, followed by a colon, followed by a value. And then the last element, no commas. Does this confuse anybody? Like what's going on there? Like what are all the keys of this object? Someone tell me. Hello and full, yeah. What's the value of full? But what's the real value of full? Stack. Yes. That makes sense? Because we created, so stack string, because I mean, this is not really like a value, right? That's just like a reference to a value. So JavaScript takes the reference, turns it into the value, boom. Yep, creating object assignment. I mean, you can see create objects like this too. This is using dot and bracket notation to create them instead of using the object literal. It's really a personal preference. Yeah. And so you can use to access and to assign. You can use bracket and dot notation. It's things you use that to access and to assign. So you can assign using bracket notation just like this if you want. Same with dot notation. Just only difference is that there's an equal sign. So they want me to tell you that functions on as values, those are called methods. on objects. What they're called. And so you can like, yeah, so you can like invoke a method on an object just by like doing dot and then function and then calling it. Same as always. And yeah, you'll find, here's an object. How many objects are in this picture? Count them times. You say 3. There's 4. Yeah. Because there's one master object. It's like that triangle puzzle, you guys know. Like how many triangles in this photo? You also got to count the big triangle. So, yeah, I mean, so this is the first object start. This is where the first object ends. Here's where the second object starts. Here's where the second object ends. Here's where the third object starts, third object ends, and so on. Does that make sense? So, yeah. Yeah, you can access functions for using documentation. Yeah, whatever the name of the function is. Yeah. Well, why are there 4 objects? Well, what you're probably missing is that all of these objects, Yankees, Mets, Cubs, those are inside baseball teams. Location, team colors are keys. Yeah. Baseball teams, dot, dot, dot location. Yes. Yeah. It's like folders. Yeah. It's like folders. Directory. Yeah. That's great. It's great. It's like a folder versus like, yeah. If you have like that list view, say you like inside of your if you're searching on your Mac, whatever, you just type in like A, so this list of everything. That's like an array because you have to scroll through the whole list and be like, okay, well, when am I going to find it? Oh, I found it. But if you just know the actual name of the file, you can type in the whole thing and then boom, you get the value. Yeah, command line, you have to do like a list. You have to like list the whole thing and then like scroll through it. But yeah, I guess command line also you type in directly like which. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good metaphor. So hopefully, if anyone's been in metaphors, just shout them out. Okay, so this side of the room, someone tell me how would I access the location of the map? You're in the middle. This side of the room, anybody? How would I access the location of the map? Yeah, baseball teams dot net location. How about with bracket location? Anybody? Yeah. You can just add another bracket. Now, within quotes. So let's just move on to the rep. We'll start with that. So, baseball teams. Let's get this package. So, what is it? Said baseball teams, bracket, Mets. What do we do after that? Another bracket right here? Yes. Yeah. Right. I think REPL will give me the value of this. Yeah. Yep. It's pretty cool. So let's play around with this. Let's just go back to the basics for a second. And let's just, someone Someone take me through an object literal, character by character here. I want to hear every character. Let's just make an object literal, yeah. Anyone can join in and shout anything out. What? Curly bracket? Say what? The key, so, okay, child. Is it in quotes? What is this in? Is this just like that? Just like that? Okay, what's next? Colon. Yep. Okay. Steve Bob. Okay. Yeah. What? No, you already said it. It's good. You already said it. Okay. Oh, you want an array? Well, no, it's too late now. So let's do an array for the next one. What do I do now? Huh? Comma? Okay, what do we do now? Mom? Okay, mom's an array. So how do I do this? So mom, and then what? Colon. Okay, how do I do the array? Square bracket. Ooh, okay, real mom. Pretty real. I mean, I got a stepmom and a real mom. Okay, okay, this is pretty good family, you know. We've got two moms. We have two moms in the same family, actually, that have one child. So now, there's no dad, two moms with one child. Okay, so now I want to do the same thing. We're going to make the same thing, except this is it. We can't edit line 6 anymore. Now we want to do the same thing except with dot notation and bracket notation. Someone over here start me off. Yeah. Yeah, we're adding to an empty object. Family dot family to dot children, right? And then what? You said what? Yep. Quotes. It's the same family, man. Bob, Steve. Okay. Now someone say what? Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Let's give him a daughter. Fine, fine. So, what's the name of the daughter? Gracie? Okay. Now, is her name Gracie, I believe? Okay. Okay, whatever. So, what, now, someone take me through bracket notation now. Yeah, we could add that. Sure, sure. Someone. Yeah, but I just want to use dot. I just want to use bracket notation for this one. I said bracket notation. Dots? There's no dots. Bracket. Mom. Bracket. Holy crap! There's another bracket, huh? Yeah, we need an equal sign in there. Yeah, we need equals. What? So what else? What's now? Well, what is it? Barbara? Barbara. Okay, so there's just one mom. That's fine. Okay. Now, the ultimate challenge. I wanna create a dad named Steve Bob. Or I want to create a property with the key Steve Bob on family 2 and set it equal to true. I want family 2 to have, this is our goal, something called Steve Bob that is set equal to true. And I don't want to use, I want to use bracket notation, but not using quotes. We can pass Steve Bob as a variable. So we already have it somewhere, don't we? Okay. So I think you're on something. Well, can you take me to the first step? No. No. You can just put a variable. Children, just like this. Family, right. Family dot children. Yeah. Everyone understand family dot children? Because look, right here. Family dot children, right here. Is that what you're going for? Okay. That's the right answer. Yeah, yes. Yeah. So no, because the only reason that those values are in quotes is because there's actual strings. Yeah, I mean, look at this, because so what if we set I want Steve Bob to equal true. So if I want Steve Bob to equal true on line 15, how do I set Steve Bob to equal true? Yeah. Yeah, that's not in quotes. It's just a Boolean now. Yeah. Yeah, just yeah. This is the rules for like what to put for the value in any of these scenarios, in object literals here, and in the assignment with equals, is everything you're used to so far. You could type function in here. You could do that. You could start here. You could do another object literal. Wow. You know, we got an object literal. We can do that. It's the rules apply. Same rules. And same rules inside. Yes, you guys? Why? Okay, yeah. Why is mom in quotes, but family of children is not? Anybody? Well, no, it's the same notations. They're both bracket notation, and there's two different ways of. Well, they're really the same way. So, what is JavaScript really making the value here, or wait, making the key here? Yeah, it's actually, yeah, yeah. Yes. So like really what JavaScript is doing in this line is this. That's really what it's doing. Yeah, I mean, in this scenario we could, but like, for example, when you're doing like a for loop, you can't just do like, I mean, you could, it's like the difference between doing I versus doing like, writing out a bunch of lines that say like 1, 0, and then you do another line that says 1, 2, 3. It's like when I is in there, the first time the loop runs, JavaScript is actually doing this. The second time the loop runs, JavaScript is actually doing that. The second time the loop runs, JavaScript is actually doing this. It's just you represented that key using a variable. Yeah. And mom is not a variable, yeah. Mom is just a string that we created right there. Yes, you got a question? So you're saying if we decided to access family.children now instead of assign it. So you're saying if we did this, like what would the value be right now? Yeah, yeah. So I want it to be equal to true. Yeah. Well, you don't need to put it. You're talking about the value part. You don't need to put that in quotes. Oh, you're talking about in here. It is in fact true. Like it's not a string of true. It's actually true. Like it's not. I think it'll look interesting. Let's check it out. Like what if we did like 1 is equal to 1? Yeah, that looks really bad because like you don't know what order things are happening, but really it's like this kind of makes sense. Yeah, so like if we just said like something like 0, right? Because 0 is falsy. So is this value going to be say false or is it going to say 0? What do you guys think? It's going to say 0. Yeah. Because so in the whole that was the types lecture. There's only specific scenarios in which that type conversion happens. That's inside of if statements and inside of like for loop conditionals, like that second part of the for loop. It does type conversion there, and it does it inside of while loops. Yeah. Yeah, like this is telling JavaScript to create a boolean implicitly. So I guess technically it does it there. This is just a way of it's like a shortcut in JavaScript of creating booleans. You probably won't do that very often. Okay, yeah. So, but if we did like that's false now. So what if we do this? I can't do that. Okay. Okay. So, does anyone want to go over what the heck is happening on line 14? Anyone have any questions about that still? Yes. Yep. Steve Bob is now a Keen family too, and it's assigned, and the value is true. Yeah, that's tomorrow's lecture. Talking about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if we logged out the object, which is you would do it just you can do it like this, which is just don't do this really. Oh, what? How are you not giving me what I want? Sometimes it doesn't do it, I guess.
saying there is that if you're looking at family tree, it would show up with mom.
I think, yeah, I think it might actually show.
And then the next tree would be children, which is
Yeah.
Steve Bob would be the same level.
Yeah, look, yeah, you can see right here. See Bob key true. So although we passed in this family.children thing as like a key, right? It's not on the object because it turned into Steve Bob. It's just what it does. Like I said, you can think of it as like an argument to a function. When you're passing in, like it's, yeah. Why is it returning what? The orders of keys and stuff, I wonder if it is consistent. It is consistent. I think generally you can't count on like the order in which keys. What? I don't know. I don't know what order they print it out in. But yeah, I wonder. Let's try it out. Let's try it out. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Never looked into that. Yeah. But generally you can't count on the order. It's something that I talked to you about, like that stuff. You cannot count on the order of those things to be consistent. Even though I think they like always are. To be honest, I don't know who told everybody in JavaScript this, but they seem to be always the same. But you can't count on it still, I guess. It's a browser, so that's why you can't count on it. It's browser specific. Thank you. Yeah, that's also next lecture. So cool. I mean, let me make sure I went over everything that we need to. Object literals, bracket, dot notation, nested objects. Yeah, we didn't really nest too much. So let's nest. So let's do a problem actually together. Any more questions on that though? Is anyone have any questions? All right, so let's do. Yeah, okay, so we're going to do the problem called SumCart in the workshop. I just opened it up. So here's the prompt. So okay. So accept the shopping cart array returns a total bill for all the items. Each item is represented by an array where the first element is the item name. The second element is the object with two properties acquired inside. Okay, so you guys see this cart array is an array with a bunch of arrays inside of it, and the second element of those arrays is an object inside of it. So could someone tell me how would I access like the quantity of tofu? Cart.tofu.quantity. Check it out. Oh, crap. That's not good. So no. How do we get into tofu? So what is tofu inside of? The question. It's inside of an array. Part what? Can we do like dot zero? Why not? Yeah, you just can't do that. I know, but it's like I don't think we ever told you guys you can't use like numbers. Cause like why can't you just use like a number? Yeah, it looks wrong. Yeah. So yeah, you need to do it in brackets. Right. So now where are we? We're like right here, right? Okay. So how do we get the quantity then? Another bracket. Bracket 1. Why 1, not 2 or 0? Tofu's at index 0. The tofu is at index 0, right? We grabbed it using this. And then within this array now, we need to get the 0th element or the first element. Yeah, that's why we have 1. Right. Okay, so now we're in the first element. What do we do now? How do we get the quantity now? Dot quantity, yeah, dot quantity, or what, how do we do it with right? But I think generally we should do it like this. Yeah. You can use what quotes? Oh, I use single quotes because I have like I go by like a certain standard of like code. That sounds so douchey, but uh, it's just like the way. Why do I do that? I think the way it is, it's actually called standard. It's like a type of way of like writing code that my company uses, and it just has like rules for like making sure everyone's code is like under the same like things. Yeah, I mean it gets like tricky. So like say you have a huge code base, and you need to find like, oh, I know I have to find a string somewhere that has like this credentials to our app, and you just can't find it. And the thing is, like, you don't know if you're command effing it, right? You're like, did I use single quotes or I use double quotes for the secret key? You know, if you're like looking around for it. And so it's really easy if you have like a large code base, people are searching for things that I have coded in standard for a while. I like standard. Uh, Full stack does not teach a certain type of code standard. Yeah. Well, actually, they want me to teach you. I think they use brackets and all this, or they use double quotes and everything. So, and they want me to put semicolons for you guys. They don't have semicolons in all of these. It's not really consistent. So it looks like we're not really like not really sticking to anything here. Yeah. Let's not go. Let's not get into semicolons. I don't want you guys to like start going crazy with semicolons. Yeah, just gonna leave it there. I just use standard. I don't know. I just like to keep my code nice, tidy. So I don't know, the internet or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just it just came out of me. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Don't worry about it though. Okay, so but you guys understand, like, if you're searching for code, you want to have it like, because like if everyone's using different types of brackets or different types of quotation all the time, then you don't know when you're searching for a string somewhere, you don't know you'd have to search once for like, what if they use bracket notation? And then once again, what if they use double quotes? What if they use single quotes? So it's just nice. And also, when you're like console logging things, you can do like, if I wanted to console log, like something with quotes inside of it, like I'd be like, this will have double quotes. Because then I can use looks, you know, as opposed to looks. Anyways, that's why, yeah. All right, nice. We got quantity. What should it be? What should it log out? Yeah, cool. And this function we're supposed to do is returns the total bill for all the items. Okay, so for this exercise, let's just go through and let's get the let's just get a sum of all the quantities. So we're gonna write a function called sumCart, and it's just gonna return let's call it quantity cart. And set the cart. So now, how do I sum up all the quantities in this? Nice. Let's do a for loop. Walk me through it. Yeah. What happened? Oh, nice. Yeah. So now, okay. What else? What's next? Nice. Yeah. So, right. We can use the same thing. One, not quantity. Right. Okay. So let's just go over like what's exactly happening here. So, what is I really? Like, it's not just some magic thing where if you type in bracket I, like, you go through the whole array, right? That's not how it works. It's the index. And what even more specific, what is it? It's what type of data is it? What type of data is I? What? It's an integer. Yeah, it's a number, integer. Yeah, what type of data type? Is that what I said? So it's an integer. So we're like putting it into bracket notation. So we're not really putting like a character I in there. We're putting every given index. So let's log it out and see all the indexes. Boom, boom, boom. There's the 7. So this transforms. This happens how many times? This line 19. Happens 8 times, and then the first time it does this, second time it does this, third time boom, 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 boom. That's the power of bracket notation. Is that you can access something you can access something that you aren't even sure exists beforehand. You can access things like dynamically. Cool. So yes, that is what's happening every time we do this. Okay. So how do we combine all the quantities together then? Yeah. So how do we do it? What is it? Total. Yeah, I like total result equals what? Okay. Inside. After the for loop. Okay. Right. Yep. 3. What's going on? Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm not even... Okay. 27. I don't even know if that's that. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, so just in case people are confused about the math that's going on line 18, my challenge now, the last part of the lecture, let's make this a total of, go on. Let's make it 4 lines long. I want to split line 18 into 4 different lines. Yeah, I want to split line 18 into 4 lines. Break it down to every operation that's happening. Because there's var item cart I. Cool. And then what is that? What are those? Those are the indices? Let's check them out. Yeah, it's each of these items. So it's first it's tofu, the first iteration. Second it's sriracha. Third it's toilet paper. Fourth it's Drano. Fourth, whatever. Yeah, it's all depending on which iteration of the for loop you're at. Okay. What's the next line? That quantity. Okay. We want 4 lines. True. Yeah, let's do that. So what would you call this instead? Let's call it like, I'm trying to avoid using data, huh? Well, no, it's not. It's quantity and prices in there. So what's like a name? It doesn't really matter. Let's just call it like, we'll call it data for now. It's the data of, oh my gosh, data of this. Right. So what's data going to equal? Someone in this side of the room tell me. What's data going to be? Yeah, it's going to be like an object. Let's get rid of this. It's going to be an object that just has quantity and price in it, right? Because we've now reached here. Okay, so now how do we get the quantity from here? So var quantity equals what? Okay, cool. Yep. Oh my gosh, what did I just do? All the quantities, cool, yeah, it's all the quantities, alright. Yeah, and then you would do total result plus equals quantity. Yeah. And then we get 27 again at the bottom. Cool, so I just wanted to make sure that everyone was following that massive line. Like, in order to get to quantity, it's like basically 3 steps, but you can do it in one line with like var one liner equals cart I, right? And then cart I is now like what item is, and then so cart I is now this, right? And then cart I, and then you go even deeper and you do cart I, the first element, which is like, so this is an array right here. So we're doing the first element, which is this, and then so we have that, and then we do dot quantity, which is, since we were just in here, we can access the key quantity, get the value 3 or 1 or 2 or 3, and then you can just like, yeah. So instead of having to go through those 3 lines, you can do it in one line like that. Just wanted to break it down, make sure everyone was following. Any questions on this? Anyone curious about any type of thing with bracket notation, dot notation? Yeah. Oh, right. You're talking about this? Like, why is this not, like, here? Because you can do that. You can do with you. All right, let me tell you guys something. Whenever you put, so we're putting numbers into here, right? This is like 1, 0 to 7. We're putting numbers in there. What happens is type coercion actually happens when you're putting in something into bracket notation. It will turn it into a string. So it actually turns our numbers. Like if we log out console log part, I guess. You can see right there. See? Wait, no, that's not it. Oh, I guess it doesn't really show us. It says just quantity like that. No, the tie array is not a string. It's like whatever we were to put into. I guess it's something we'll go over next lecture. But whatever we put into, if we put, let's get even crazier. So let's just get rid of this example. Let's say we have var object equals, and let's say we have var object equals hello, and we did object key. What? Everyone following what I'm doing here? I'm putting in an object instead of, because what we've done before is we put numbers inside of bracket notation and we put strings inside of bracket notation. But what's going to happen if we put an object? Let's check it. Let's take a look. I think it's going to be like the entirety of that object. It's just object. So it's weird. Now it's giving me string. It's weird. If I did 0, it should give me string things. It doesn't. Only when I put it in an object. Well, I'll tell you, because I know the truth, is that all keys are strings. They're always strings. You put in a number, it'll turn into a string. Put in an object, it'll two-string it. Whatever dot two-string returns. Oh, no. So the values don't turn into strings. I'm talking about the keys. The values are anything. The keys turn into strings. Right, because you're talking about when it was defined. Like it was like this. And then, so it was like, we put it in quotes. Up here is like quantity. Like that. If we defined it like that, so then when we're doing bracket notation with it, like, can we just do quantity? Is that what you're saying? No. Always, yeah. This is assuming that quantity or whatever is a variable. So this is going to run in there. So however you define your keys with strings, you don't have to use. You can do keys specifically when you're in the object literal. You can do keys with single quotes, like one after another. They're both in quotes. It's fine. Yeah. Oh, and this. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah. No problem. No problem. Doesn't matter. It does not matter how you define the key. It'll end up as in JavaScript. It'll end up with as a string. But just there's it's special when you're using objects that they don't make you put quotes around it. But you always if you're just using a string, not a variable to access it, you have to put it in quotes. But there's no relationship between how you define it in the object literal and how you access it. There's no relationship. Yeah. No, you have to. Like, are you talking about when you're defining it or when you're accessing? Oh, when you're defining it, you don't have to. Because in the example, it was like they used double quotes when they're as for all the keys. That's okay. You don't have to do that. You can just type it in like this. Yeah. But you also can do it like I think. Yeah, I'm not gonna. All right, you guys ready? Any other questions? Depends on the person. I don't like it with quotes. Yeah. Yeah. All right, everybody got it? Bracket notation, dot notation, yes. No. So if you're, so a variable without quotes, yeah, so you can do that. So if we had like var keys equal to right, it's totally acceptable. This, however, is incorrect. But this is correct. All right, so everyone knows dot notation versus bracket notation. Everyone understands object literal notation versus doing, I guess, versus what? Just writing it out, assigning it, using assignment. Oh, right. That's you can't. It's not. Well, so next lecture we're gonna go over how to like play around with keys and how to like do stuff like that. But generally, the point of an object is so that you already know what the keys are, but you don't know what the values are. If for some reason you know what the values are and you're trying to find the key, then you're not using object right because that means you should have your value as the key. Or yeah, it means you should flip it to because you know. Yeah. Yes. That's not an object. Yeah, arrays are technically objects. Objects are objects. What else is on there? What other kind of objects are there? Functions, yes. Functions are objects. So you can like, I don't think I've ever I don't think I've ever done this with any use, but you could do like fx dot. You could do like. Log it out. Yeah, isn't that really weird? Like, what? What is that console log even? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you can like put values on functions, and I think this exists. Oh, look at that! Isn't that cool? It has a property name, which is this. And I think this is extra credit here, so don't worry about it. I think if we do, oh yeah, this is supposed to be, I think this is going to be 2. That's the length of, that's how many arguments it has, dot length of the function. Isn't that weird? Yeah, I've never done that before. I've never done that. Yeah, I don't know. No, that's the only way to get it. Well, actually, you could. There's another way to do it, but I'm not going to talk about it. Yeah, so that's cool, right? So functions are objects. What? There's other ones, right? Like what are built? There's a bunch of built-in objects. There's like array-like objects. There's so many objects, right? But that's the only one. It's all yes, all objects. Yeah. That value. Oh no. That value is this is whatever I want. Not whatever I want. There's some rules. Null is technically an object. You can basically all I'm saying is like function, although it has a special thing where you can like call it and stuff. It's like a special thing that JavaScript lets you do with functions. It's also just an object. Like there's literally just properties on it. You can set properties on it, and you can like, yeah, you can do it with dot notation. You could just like, or use bracket notation. You can do this. It's the same thing. It's an object. So, yeah. Yeah. I think it'll overwrite. I think it'll overwrite the name. Oh, look, it didn't. No, it looks like we can't overwrite it. It's like it doesn't exist. I think if we do that name, it. No. What's the key of this scenario when we're accessing name on function? Name is the key. What's the value? Not well. I tried to make it true, but it's actually still FX. Yeah, because JavaScript doesn't want us to change it. It's like a built-in thing. Yeah. So you don't have to know any of this, just so you know, just for having fun. Let's stop though. No more fun. Time to do the workshop. I'll Slack out pairs. And there's no more questions.